starting to take your music production and songwriting seriously? Do you think that you have what it takes to make a living in the music industry? Well, this marketing podcast is here to help music producers and artists to begin building a foundation to grow their music company from the bedroom to the boardroom. And now, here's your host, Brennan Lewin.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Brennan from EQ Productions. This is Music Marketing Podcast, Episode 7. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about the tools that I use to do the job that I do. Now, if you're unfamiliar with me and what it is that I do, I am a comedy tour producer by day. I work with my team. I specifically handle all the marketing and advertising. Me and my teammates usually create everything from graphics to video drops to Facebook and Google advertising, and we run these campaigns in order to help us sell tickets to the show. So we promote and produce the tours. We get comics out on the road. We fill asses and seats. We sell as many tickets as we can, and to do that, I have to stay highly organized because out of the year that we run tours, our busy season is spring and fall. Fall is kind of a shorter, smaller, less demanding season for us. We don't do nearly as many tours in the fall as we do in the springtime. But once the spring rolls around, it's full steam ahead. We get super busy. We do around 180 shows a year, meaning that the 5 or 6 tours that we do per season, some tours span 30 days, 30 venues. Every venue needs a ton of graphics. Every tour date needs a ton of advertising done on Facebook and otherwise. So you could imagine that all this stuff gets really out of hand quickly. If I don't keep organized, I will mess everything up. Venues will get the wrong graphics. Deadlines won't be met. Acts will complain. I mean, it's just going to be a disaster. And I've searched far and wide to find tools that I could do my job and I could actually, be successful without too much, learning curve and too many mistakes being made. And the tools that I use help me avert all those mistakes and keep me organized. And a lot of these things are free. So I wanted to share them with you today because I want you guys to see that you don't necessarily always have to spend a ton of money. You don't have to, have the greatest of everything, but you do have to know what you're doing and utilizing these tools to their full ability, because a lot of these things, granted they're free, you will find that some of the features are behind paywalls and you'll have to upgrade to the full premium feature, and it'll cost money. But I haven't had to yet, and I kind of get really in depth with a lot of these tools that I use. And so I found it that, yes, you could upgrade and could get all the bells and whistles, but I don't have even time for these bells and whistles. So I just need a lot of the basics that these tools offer, and I'm very happy so far. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about some of these tools so you guys could implement them into your process and help you stay organized and further, whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're running a business or you're working at a company that you just need to be a little bit more organized in. So the first tool I want to talk to you guys about is called Asana. It's spelled A-S-A-N-A. And you can find it at asana.com. It's an organizational tool. It's kind of a task list tool. You're able to create tasks, a list of tasks that all have little nice, neat check boxes next to them that you could check off when you're done. It'll gray the task out, letting you know that task has been completed. You could also filter it out, inside of the change view filter settings. So you could only show yourself the tasks that haven't been completed yet, or if you want to see if you've already completed a task, you could go and you could actually see just the completed task. So really granular. It allows you to see things, from a perspective that you need to see them from, whether, again, if you need to see a completed task or incompleted task or a certain project that you're working on, or even a certain team. So the cool thing about Asana is it's hierarchical. So you could basically break down your tasks from the team to a project to a task to a subtask, and you could even leave comments per subtask. So you could really get granular and you could see exactly what you've done. You could work with other teammates. You could have them comment on the task that you've done. You could have them remind you. You could assign tasks to different teams and different colleagues. Um, it gives you really, flexible ability to stay organized by creating sections for projects. I mean, I love this tool to death. It keeps me so organized. It helps me communicate with my team. It helps them, let me know that they've done something on the task list. So if something was done, I don't have to go and ask everybody when or what happened. I just look inside of my Asana. I find the task, whether it's completed or not. If I don't see it, it's probably been completed, and I could check in the completed view. And this will give me a good idea of what's going on inside of our project management. And without me having to explain everything to people, or without me having to create multiple different accounts, this is great for allowing multiple people to log in and work off the same task list, and get really really organized, and just work with the whole entire team in just a more productive way. What I love about it is having such a granular access, or having such granular ability to create tasks and put everything in its own little box, allows me to not only use this for, my work stuff, which is tour production. I could also bring it home and work on it, in my studio, as far as knowing when I have due dates, what projects I'm working on. If I have any albums I'm working on, I could kind of spec that out and say, okay, I need to do this, this, and this. It's due on such and such date. And I could just go through the list and check things off as they're done, looking at it and saying, okay, this is done, this is next. Now, a lot of us feel like we're organized, just, our egos tell us we're okay, we don't need these tools. And we'll notice that a lot of times, by not using these organization tools, what will happen is you'll basically just continue to tread water or spin your tires in the mud, trying to get out of the slump that you're in, because you don't know what's been done. You don't know, what needs to be done. And a lot of people feel like, well, I'm pretty smart, I'm pretty organized, I don't need this. This is just, another task for me to do. Well, sure. If you could do it without this, great. I mean, I salute you. I can't. Knowing how I am and my ADHD, and, doing 18 things at once while being asked to do 18 other things to help other people out, I frequently get detoured off of what I'm doing. So if I'm in the middle of something and I get asked for help and I have to step away to help somebody else, when I come back to my project, chances are I won't necessarily know what's going on. I won't have a clue where I am. But with Asana, I'm able to look and see, okay, this is done, this is not done. I could get right back into it. So if I can't remember what I was doing when I stepped away, then I could come back and I could see exactly where I am and pick right back up and, just finish the project with, productivity without spending too much time. It's, again, one of my favorite tools. It's called Asana, Asana. You can find it at asana.com. I implore you to check it out and start using it inside of your process. It'll help you get organized, and you'll thank me for it. All right, so let's move on to the next tool that I use. It's called Wave Accounting. You could find it at waveapps.com. That's WAVEAPPS.com. Wave Accounting is amazing. Think QuickBooks, but think free. Wave Accounting allows you to do just about everything QuickBooks does, but you don't have to pay for it. It gives you everything from tracking of your sales to tracking of your purchases, your internal accounting. You can even attach your bank account. If anything's done through the bank, you'll be able to see it right inside of Wave Apps, and you'll be able to track it. And, even has payroll. Now, I know a lot of us are kind of smaller, small companies without employees. So payroll may or may not be important to you, but everything else, from reporting to invoicing and, every other feature that this software has to offer is super useful. I find that I use a lot of them. One of my favorite is recurrent invoices. Now, I have a web business that I run. I do websites. I do website management. And the website management is one of my biggest earners, because I'm able to just send out recurrent invoices to my customers. And every month they get an invoice without me even having to think to send it. They get an invoice, they pay it. I do my maintenance work on their websites, make sure their websites are updated, make sure that everything is, on the up and everything's running smooth. And then they just get a bill. And I don't have to send the bill to them. I don't have to remind them of anything. If they haven't paid the bill within a certain amount of time, I automatically have kind of like a soft reminder that goes out. It's like, hey, we did send you an invoice. Let us know if you have any problems, or, if you can't necessarily pay it on time, or blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of like a soft push for them to pay the bill. It automatically gets tracked inside of Wave Accounting, because Wave the Wave Accounting invoices have a link that allows the customer to pay right off of the invoice that's sent, and it either goes through PayPal or it goes through the Wave Payments, which is native Wave payment gateway. And they take a percentage. I think it's like 2.3% or 2.9. I can't think of it right now. But it's just like a nominal fee for them to do the credit card processing, just like every other credit card processor. And it goes right into your bank account within, I don't know, 4 to 5 days. So there is a little bit of a lag time. It's not immediate, but it's very professional as opposed to necessarily sending people a PayPal link, which I know a lot of us do, and there's nothing wrong with it. But if you're looking to run a business in more of a legit way and have a face of a company that is a real company instead of just you being the sole proprietor and just kind of working out of your bedroom. Now, granted, we all work out of our bedrooms until we get offices and, we get big and successful. But this is a great way to start, and it's a great way to actually get your finances organized because, and I'm telling you, from my accountant, and I'm sure your accountant will thank you for this because having everything done the right way from the start makes your accountant's life a heck of a lot easier. They'll be able to actually do what they need to do and do it quickly. They'll be happy, you'll be happy, and it'll also reflect into, in your taxes yearly or quarterly, whatever you pay. And again, this is just something that keeps you organized financially and, helps you run your business because without keeping your finances in order, your business is going to suffer. You won't know where your money's coming from. You won't know where it's going. I think that having a profit and loss statement is super important to understand how your business health is doing. If you're losing more money than you're making, well, hell, you got to make some changes. But it's super important for you to get all these reportings and make sure that you understand what they are and how to utilize them. Because if you don't, you will miss a lot of the things that your business will start leaking like a sieve. You'll start, hemorrhaging a lot of money before, making a lot of money. And that's just not a great way to run a business. I think the financial part of running the business is just as important as the productive side of the business. So make sure that you're using these tools to not only help keep you organized, but at the same time, keep you on the legal side of things because you don't want to get hit with any kind of penalties from the IRS. You don't want to, violate any laws. So again, I strongly recommend using Wave Apps. You could find it at Wave, that's WAVEAPPS.com. Again, a free tool that you could use to help you manage your finance side of your business. And, again, it's something that I find super useful and I've been using for many years now, and I've always recommended it. So definitely check waveapps.com, a great finance tool to help you organize your business. So let's move on to the next tool. This one is called Trello. That's spelled Trello. Now, what Trello does, and you can find it at Trello.com, what it does is it's a roadmap builder. Now, it's super important to know what you have to do over a long period of time. So when you write your business plan, and this kind of touches on your business plan, when you write your business plan, you want to make sure that you have, your 1 year, your 3 year, your 5 year goals, and you want to have them outlined as much as you can so you understand that your business will be taking these specific steps to get, from the beginning of your startup to your exit plan when you're selling the company or whatever it is you plan on doing. This is kind of one of those things, right? Now, it's not a business plan writer. It's not going to help you create an executive summary and so on and so forth. What this is it's a roadmap in a sense of letting yourself know where you are and, what phase of your business you're in, what needs to be done. You could get very, very segmented with these things. You could kind of outline everything from a perspective of, this is day one and this is what I need to do, first month, second month, so on and so forth. So as granular as you want to get with this, you could really outline the tasks, the big picture stuff that you need to get through to complete whatever goals that you have to complete. Now, Asana, in comparison to Trello, and if you're wondering, well, I have Asana, why would I need Trello? Asana, sure, you could use Asana the same way, but Asana gets real granular with actually, the tasks and subtasks. So it's more of kind of a project organization tool. So you could use either tools without having to use the previous, but this is kind of one of those things that I like to use Asana for project management. I like to use Trello for, business roadmap builder. And the way that I use Trello, and let me kind of like explain to you a little bit. So what you would see when you first log in is a dashboard, right? You will have all your boards, and they call them boards. So I don't know if you ever heard of the term vision board or, planning board. It's sort of one of those things where every board itself allows you to get segmented and plan out, every step of each board. So, for example, I have boards such as blogging, tour name, whether it's Blues or Cat Williams or Mike Epps or whoever, and then we'll have digital strategy, email marketing. So all these things are kind of, they're the big picture stuff. And so under each board, I could go in and I could say, okay, email marketing. What do I have to do in email marketing? I'd have to, if I don't have anything built, I would have to create an account, and then I would write a description, what I would have to do to create that account. Maybe I would put my username and password in here. Maybe I would put, other information like the link to get to the email marketing, just to keep everything all in one place. And then I could break it all down. I could say, create lists, and then I could write list names. I could explain what these lists are about, so on and so forth. And this roadmap helps me create a plan for the future. It allows me to look at things from kind of a high view, as opposed to, again, Asana that kind of lets me get really granular and get really up close and detailed about things. So again, you could use either one of these tools for everything, but I like to make sure that, I use my tools the way that's easier for me. And for me, it's easier to use Asana for my project management, and again, Trello to use as my roadmap. And the cool thing about Trello that Asana doesn't let you do is all these cards that you create inside of your boards, you can move them around. So if you have projects that are set up to be done at a certain time, and you kind of want to go down the list and say, I want to do this, 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 and this, if something comes up, you could move these cards around. You could reshuffle them. You could put them ahead or before each other. You could move them to different boards. So it allows you to get, again, really customizable with your roadmap planning, and, help you identify what projects need to be done, help you move projects, up and down in the priority list. And, again, I love it because it helps me to stay not only organized, but at the same time, it helps me look to see what tasks that I need to do coming up in the near future. So it might not necessarily be, date based, although you can set dates and deadlines in Trello like you could in Asana, but it lets you see, on your task list from the high viewpoint, you could see, okay, I need to do this, this, and this. And it's a little bit more customizable than Asana in that sense. So I really enjoy using it to kind of help me identify what projects, are, and the importance of each project. So I don't want to get too deep in Trello because it's kind of really simple. Think of like stickies, think of yellow stickies, and think of using Trello as just placing stickies all over your desk, just to keep you organized. But again, it's digital, and you could export them and use them with your teammates. So your teammates, again, could update your boards, and they could move things around as priorities change. So definitely check out Trello. Trello is Trello. That's Trello.com. And again, it's a free app. It's awesome. I would highly recommend using it. So definitely check that out. So let's get into my next tool that I love using. It's called HubSpot CRM. Now, CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. What that lets you do is it lets you take client info, import it into basically a digital Rolodex, but on steroids. So what HubSpot does is it allows you to track customer relationships. It allows you to track your projects, where you are, where, if you're in a deal phase, or if you're in a completion phase, or wherever it is that you're working with your customers on. HubSpot will let you track all that information and update it. So if you had calls, you could put notes. And basically, if you worked in any sort of a sales environment, right, you'll have a customer relationship management tool that you could use to keep track of all your deals, keep track of, follow-ups and things that you have to do with customers before and after the sale's completed. I think it's one of the best free CRMs available. Again, you could upgrade to the premium versions, and But if you don't have the money, you don't have the necessity for the upgrades, the free versions are perfectly fine to use. They're great out of a box. I use it a lot when dealing with, my website business, or if I have any kind of advertising stuff with customers. So I send out, if I send out an invoice, I could put that in my CRM and say, okay, I've sent out an invoice on such and such date. It's been X amount of days since, and I could send a reply or I could send a notification to remind them that the invoice gone out. Also, if I'm dealing with a customer that's taking a while to close, I could keep everything updated to, let myself know where I am in the process or what I need to do, if anything, to help close the customer. Plus, it's something that you could look, from a distance and not be kind of right up close. Like a lot of business owners that I know, they work in their business, right? We don't work on our business, we work in our business. And that's the problem, because when you're working in your business, you're the employee. Granted, if you're the only, person running in the business, you don't have the option to pick a side, so you can't work in or on your business. You have to do both. But you still have to remember that even though you are the boss and the employee, that there's things that are out there for you to use to make your life simpler, where you don't have to do everything with pen and pad, and you don't have to remember everything. You could put things down and you could look at it and actually make better decisions based on, these notes that you've taken, and, make more solid choices in your business, whereas opposed to people who kind of remember everything and write, little notes and lose them. This is not a great way to grow your business. And granted, you may have something on your hands that's, $1 million idea, but to scale any business, you have to make sure that you understand that not only do you have to keep organized, but you also have to know, okay, I've done this and, it worked, or I've done that and it didn't work. So you kind of have to put these notes into these projects. So as you're reviewing your project to see the productivity level of each project, you could see, okay, I've done this, this, and this, and it didn't work, so I'm never going to do it again. Or I've done this, and this was wildly successful, so I'm going to continue using this, these procedures, or, whatever it is. So I basically feel that, something like a customer relationship management tool is just really invaluable for a lot of startups and a lot of businesses, period. I mean, I know a lot of businesses I've worked in or have owned, I've always had a CRM. It's just imperative. I think it's stupid not to, because you're just relying on your memory. And at that point, you won't know when things were done. You won't know if things were done. And you'll lose a customer because they'll know that you're not organized. So if you're sending somebody an invoice, but you already sent that invoice before, but you can't remember that you sent it either to this guy or that guy, it's just not going to be a good look for you if you send a invoice to somebody twice, and that person's just, they're kind of pissed off that, like, hey, like, I get it, I owe you money, I'll get it back to you. And if you put this in your CRM and you went into that account and you looked and you said, okay, I've sent them an email 10 days ago and it's been 10 days and I haven't heard anything back, might be time for follow up, or even sooner. I'm not giving you exact follow up terms or anything like that, but you still want to make sure you keep everything kind of very organized, because a business owner that's not organized is never going to get new clients the same way that an organized business owner will. So get on the right, side of organization. Make sure that you're, keeping track of all the conversations you had with people, keeping track of what you promised, keeping track of, money that came in or money that's still owed. And HubSpot CRM is perfect. It's a free tool. It's HUBSPOT.com. You could find, a lot of tools that HubSpot makes. They're one of the best, marketing companies. And I strongly recommend you guys check them out and kind of see what their offer is. And I feel that the CRM that they offer on, the free side is just as, just great for customers. I feel that the CRM that they offer, for free is not only just good enough, it's great for users that are just getting into business and just getting into the CRM and they want to learn how to use it. There's no need to go ahead and get, upgraded plans or anything just yet. You may find that you may need one down the line, but you could sign up for free, you could give it a test drive, see how it works, see, how it applies to your business. But again, I strongly recommend it. That's HubSpot.com. For the HubSpot CRM, again, it stands for Customer Relationship Management. And, again, I use it every day and it just helps me immensely to stay organized. So let's move on to my next tool, which is called Buffer, and it's a social media management tool for all your accounts to put everything in one place. Now, if you're anything like me, you have a ton of accounts that you manage, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and so on and so forth. The thing about Buffer that I love so much is that it takes posting and it lets you organize it and pre-plan things and put things in order and let them run on a schedule. So if you want to post 3 to 4 times a day, which is recommended for certain businesses, but obviously not every business, using Buffer is awesome. So what I would do is I would log into my Buffer account and I would select the social media platform that I want to use, like Twitter, and I would create a bunch of posts. Now, granted, if I want to do 3 to 4 posts a day and I want to get a week knocked out, I'll try to do something like 20 to 30 different posts. And those posts will be scheduled at a different time. I'll maybe put, 4 to 5 hours in between the posts, and I would program everything from the copy to the photo and whatever video I want to use. And I would set them inside a Buffer on a schedule. And what Buffer will do is it'll automatically post that, specific post that I wrote, or post a video or post an image to the platform that I desire to post on. And it will do it automatically. I'll sit down and spend a couple hours to do all the posts, or an hour, whatever time it takes. I'll sit down and I'll get all the stuff pre-programmed, and then I won't have to think about it. And the only thing I would do basically is I would check to see if it was posted, if there's any errors, and, just keep an eye on all my engagement, things like that. And what it does for me is basically it allows me to step away from having to think about my social, content, having to think about my, strategy that I have for my social, and allow me to sit down and do everything, in one sitting, batch everything, put everything in Buffer, get it all scheduled, and then just go back to doing what I need to do. Now, I'm a big, big fan of automation, right? I feel that, people that don't use templates, that don't use automation in this day and age are just wasting their time, and they're just being elitist. Now, I've had, issues with other designers who were elitists, and they wanted to talk about, oh, you use templates, you're not a real designer. Really? Okay, fine. I'm not a real designer, but I get paid and my projects are done and my customers are happy. So who gives a shit, right? So if you want to do this to be an elitist and to be the best of the best, the creatives, I'm a businessman first. So I kind of want I want to do this from a businessman's perspective and not worry so much about, being super creative and original when my customers don't even give a shit. My customers need a website. They need a website done. I'm not necessarily going to sit there and code everything from scratch just to feel good knowing that I did all the work. It's sort of like the analogy that I always use is if you're a contractor and you build homes, right? If you build homes and you have to go out into the woods and cut down your own trees and then, take them to the mill and get them all milled and create your own boards and then drive the boards. But it's like, dude, just go to a lumber yard and get pre-made boards, right? Get 2x4s, for whatever it is you need, and then get to work. Same thing with templates. I don't want to sit here and design everything from scratch. Same thing with social media management. I don't want to sit there and post every post at the specific time that I want to post it. I want this done in advance, put on schedule, and then I want to go back to doing everything else that I need to do. I don't have time to sit there and think, well, what am I going to post now? That's not strategy. That's winging it. My strategy is I sit down and I get, weeks worth of posting done on, Sunday or whatever. And then I let it all kind of bust out and, it gets posted to my social media platforms as I direct Buffer to post it. And it makes my life so much easier because, again, I don't have to spend the time to sit there and create things from scratch or sit there at the time that I need to post something and try to come up with engaging content. I could do it based on strategy I've worked out before, pre-programmed, placed into Buffer, set on schedule, and then just walk away and let it do its thing and just keep an eye on it to make sure that it's working right. Other than that, I don't have to worry about it. It's kind of a done deal for me. If you want to be an elitist, do everything from scratch. I personally find that to do business and to stay profitable, I need to use templates. Buffer is a great example of that. It allows me to, again, stay very flexible, to pre-build everything, to put everything on schedule and send it out. And so I love it, and I strongly recommend it for anybody who's using, multiple accounts and you do heavy social media management, whether you're managing your own pages or you're managing customer pages. I strongly recommend it. That's Buffer, BUFFER.com. You could sign up for free. They let you attach about 3 different platforms. I think you could do Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, which I know the major ones. Those are the ones I really use. I don't really use too many more besides that. I don't like to spread myself too thin, but this is a great tool if you want to get into really doing your social media professionally and not just wing it and have a strategy. So definitely check out Buffer. It'll help you just hopefully as much as it helped me. At this point, I kind of want to wrap this episode up. I hope you guys learned a little bit about the tools that I use to run my business, my 9 to 5. I hope that you guys check out some of these tools and start implementing them into your process. Again, my name is Brennan Lunan. You could find me on social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at EQ Productions. And that's ECUE Productions with the letter S on the end. That's on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You could also check me out on my website. That's eqproductions.com. I do a lot of educational stuff on there. I'll post articles and I'll post guides and I'll create action plans for you guys to basically get for free. Just might have to share your email with me. I run tons of Facebook advertising. If you have questions about Facebook advertising or if you have questions about music marketing, I do consultations. Please hit me up and we'll discuss all the details for the consultations. You could schedule it right online through my website. Again, this is Brennan Lunan at EQ Productions, and we will talk to you guys next week.